While thinking about what to do this week, YouTube Analytics said you guys were looking for some absurd builds. So, I figured I would give that a shot. Let's get to it. A little while back, I tried to make my base fly, but I was unsuccessful for the most part. However, a bunch of you in the comments said there was a way to make my base hover in the air. And that seems pretty absurd to me, so I'm gonna try and make it happen. According to what I read, I just simply put my base on hover stones, then launch it in the air while in creation mode. And that sounds simple enough. I admit, I didn't really get into all the specifics, and figured it would be more fun to just try and figure it out. So I got into creation mode, made a hoverstone platform, and loaded it down with rockets. I then placed my base on top of the little platform and launched it in the air. As it was at its peak, I talked to our guy to finish building. However, he said something was in the way. So that made me think I probably need to launch the base, then use recall to suspend it in the air. That way I have time to move our hoverstone platform out of the way. After a few failed attempts, I finally had the base just a little off the ground, and everything else was out of the build zone. So I thought this was the one. However, the construction guy said my base was unstable. This dude really is here just to ruin my fun. The comment section said this was possible, and I felt like I was so close to getting it to work. But I couldn't figure out how to get the construction guy to chill his standards. So I caved in and looked up what I was missing. Which led me to Cleric's video. Shout out to that guy. I'll put a link in the description to his video. To sum it up, I didn't use enough hoverstones because the house has to stay in the air at a certain position, and recall isn't the way to lock it in place. To make it work, you have to create an area to tuck the hoverstones under that will be out of the build zone. I kept trying to use this method for far too long, and it just wasn't working out for me. So, instead, I got angry and flipped my base sideways. And there you have it. Here's my absurd base build. Fun fact, aside from how trippy it is when you walk in the base, it renders everything unusable. I tried to sleep in the bed, but you can't really do that if it's horizontal. Now that I have the world's finest base, I need to make something wild to go along with it. So I figured why not try and make a helicopter. I've tried to make one with a turbine before, but that didn't work like I wanted it to. So this time I'm just gonna use a bunch of fans. I got to work putting together the absolute worst rotors you've ever seen, because this was a rough draft for how it could work. Maybe. And after slapping a few parts together, I really nailed that helicopter vibe. Kinda. Well, if you close your eyes. Either way, the first draft was a failure. But that's okay. The fan shape just needs some improvement. So I figured I would make it more spiral, and have 3 blades instead of 4. After getting that worked out, I attached it to my beautiful creation, and it was test time. This go around, we have liftoff. And if you look here, the pond has no water in it. But I guess it would be more concerning if it did. Overall, this is not the prettiest thing I've ever made, but it is pretty absurd that I'm trying to pass it off as a helicopter. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up. and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment, cause I respond to those pretty often. And as always, I'll catch you next time.